Hi, my name's Thomas Finch, and I'm the 5 Minute Pharmacist. I'm here to answer your pharmacy questions in 5 minutes or less. Today, I'm going to be talking specifically about pet meds, and I've got a special guest to help me with that. This is Link, the quadriplegic cat. Now, when my partner and I adopted Link, we were told that he only had about 2 months to live. But a year and a half later, he's still going strong, and a big part of that is due to his pain meds. But because Link's a cat, we can't just give him anything for his pain. Take Tylenol, for example. Tylenol is actually poisonous to a wide range of animals, including humans, but your body has a two-step plan to deal with it. One, you've got an enzyme that helps prevent it from becoming toxic in the first place, and two, if everything else fails, you have a sort of miracle molecule called glutathione that can detoxify it. Now, glutathione's great. It's the original antioxidant, and your body uses it for all sorts of things. But its versatility is also its vulnerability. Say if you go out drinking, your body's going to use all of your glutathione to detoxify the alcohol you take in, and it won't have any left to make Tylenol safe to use. And that's the reason that you can't use Tylenol when you have a hangover. Well, cats are sort of like tiny drunk people, and because their bodies don't have a plan A to deal with Tylenol, it goes straight to being taken care of by glutathione. They use it all up right away, and so even a very small amount of Tylenol becomes poisonous to a cat. So, you might ask, if we can't use over-the-counter pain meds, what do we use for cats who are in pain? Well, we use opiates. Things like morphine or even heroin would work, but what we actually use is something called buprenorphine. Because this little guy can't tell us when he needs more or when he needs less, we give him a partial opiate, buprenorphine, because that way we can go ahead and just give him more until he starts feeling better, and we don't have to worry as much about overdosing him. It's not a real concern with partial opiates. And so that's how we keep this little guy happy and healthy and pain-free. Okay, so our next topic is a question from Twitter. Emily asks, are all of the required pet vaccines really necessary, and could they be dangerous to our pets? Well, local laws vary, of course, but in many states, the only actually required pet vaccine is going to be rabies. And I can't say enough, get your pets their rabies vaccines. Even in humans, once you've started showing signs of a rabies infection, it's already too late. The only way to protect your pets is to vaccinate them ahead of time. And the good news about the rabies vaccine is that everything in the rabies vaccine is completely dead, or if it's the recombinant vaccine, it was never even alive in the first place. And that means that there's no risk that your pet or you could get rabies from the rabies vaccination. Now, there's a whole series of other very strongly recommended vaccines, especially if your cats or dogs are going to be outside, even just in your own backyard. You really need to look at getting them their whole series of vaccines to protect them. For example, they protect from cancers and from liver damage, and I even have one fuzzy patient who's going to be on pills for the rest of her life. If she'd gotten just a single vaccine when she was a kitten, she wouldn't have needed that. But you ask, can vaccines be dangerous? And this goes back to a question back in 20 years ago or so. They noticed that a certain ingredient in some of these vaccines was making skin cancers more likely for cats especially. Maybe 1 in 1,000 cats was getting this odd kind of skin cancer, and they've since removed that ingredient from the main recombinant rabies vaccine. And so that's the one that we recommend, because it's not as likely to hurt anybody. And yeah, so that's vaccines for pets. And then our final question today is our vegan question of the day. Can pets be vegan? And of course it all depends on the pet. You know, they don't call it rabbit food for nothing. But dogs and cats specifically, dogs first. I'm going to go with what Dr. Wendy Brown says. She's a PhD in canine nutrition from Australia. She says if a dog's diet has the nutrients a dog requires, if it's good enough that the dog enjoys eating it, and if the dog is healthy, then there's no problem with the dog's diet, even if it's vegetarian or vegan. So while it's not a free pass, if you do it smart, you can keep dogs vegetarian. Cats, on the other hand, are a bit of a different story. When an animal is used to getting a nutrient from its diet, it loses its body's ability to produce that nutrient. We're talking over evolutionary timescales. For example, humans, when our ancestors were little monkeys swinging from the trees, we might have not needed vitamin C. But we got so much of it in our diet that our bodies slowly lost the ability to produce our own vitamin C, and now we have to have it, or our teeth will fall out, and all sorts of other horrible things will happen. Well, cats are the same way. Because they're used to getting their vitamin A from meat, their taurine from meat, the basic building blocks for their hormones from meat, they can't make any of these things. They've just lost the ability to do it themselves. And so while theoretically it might be possible for a cat to be vegan, I'm not sure that it's really practically possible or that it'd be really a good idea for the animal. Well, I'm the 5 Minute Pharmacist, and I encourage you to get down in the comments and submit your questions and concerns on Facebook, Google+, or Twitter, and we'll tackle them in an upcoming show. I'll see you soon.